Alright, people, you read the title. We're going to be ranking Trump's second cabinet from most qualified to least qualified. Please note that all of this is my opinion and nothing is objective. We'll start off in the higher tiers since, let's face it, the least qualified ones at the bottom are going to be the most entertaining. Starting off with Trump's number 1, number 2, J.D. Vance. As vice president, Vance has quite an important role of being backup president in case anything happens to Trump. He's actually quite qualified for his job. Before being VP, he was a senator for Ohio. He also served in the Marines as a military journalist. In addition, he also attended Yale Law School. Overall, he's a pretty well-rounded guy and knows how to be a good politician. S tier. Moving on to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Like Vance, Rubio was a senator before joining the Trump administration. However, he's from Florida and served much longer in Congress than Vance. He originally ran against Trump for president in 2016, but kinda got his ass kicked in the debates. Like Vance, he also has a law degree. So far, he seems to be a decent Secretary of State. He was also well liked by many of his former Senate colleagues, as he was confirmed by the Senate with a 99-0 vote. Clearly, the Democrats thought he was a good nomination. S tier. Here's one you probably don't hear about too often. Doug Burgum. He is the Secretary of the Interior. Before this, he was the governor of North Dakota and even ran for president in the 2024 election, but dropped out shortly afterward to help out Donald Trump. He has quite the background in business, even earning an MBA and working in the business field for most of his career. The fact that he isn't very often in the news is probably a good thing. He was actually praised for saving indigenous-related programs from Trump's DEI cuts. S tier. Another cabinet member that flies under the radar is the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. She's originally from Texas and has had a bit of a political career there. She ran a conservative think tank. She also has a law degree and has been around agriculture policies a lot and clearly kind of knows what she's talking about. S tier. Alright, enough of S tier. Moving on to A tier with Scott Bessent. He is the Secretary of the Treasury. The dude clearly knows money and business. He's run multiple hedge funds and has worked as an investor for a long time. He is also openly gay, which is kind of surprising. But hey, at least that's one Republican that's acknowledging they're gay. The reason he is an A tier and not S tier is that he isn't standing up to Trump enough when it comes to tariffs and the economy. This dude knows how to properly manage the economy, and yet is too scared of Trump to do his job properly. Instead, he has to try and make the shit that Trump gives him work. A tier. Moving on to Attorney General Pam Bondi. Not surprisingly, she has a law degree. She also served as Florida's Attorney General, during which she was the lead attorney in charge of trying to get rid of Obamacare. She also defended an amendment to the Florida Constitution banning same-sex marriage. I think a certain secretary would take issue with that. However, she said that her defending that constitution did not represent her views on gay marriage, and that she did it out of respect for Florida's constitution. She is clearly qualified to be Attorney General. However, I place her not in S tier because, like Bessent, she refuses to stand up to Trump. I'm pretty sure she knows that deporting U.S. citizens is illegal, and yet she goes along with it. A tier. For all you football fans out there, you may recognize this name. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner. This guy has a degree in speech and communications, and yet I feel like most of his college days were focused on football. He played for his university and then went on to play for the Redskins and a couple other teams. He started his political career after retiring from the NFL, and while I don't think he's necessarily unqualified for this position, he hasn't done anything too notable. A tier. Next up, our first B tier. Lori Chavez DeRemer, the Secretary of Labor. She has a background in business and has a degree in it too. She was a mayor in Oregon and then went on to represent it in the House of Representatives. The reason why she's in B tier is that she's a bit of a hypocrite and scared of Trump. During her nomination hearings, she was asked about the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, an act she co-sponsored that protects employees from union-busting activities. She was asked whether or not she would protect it, and she said that her opinion had changed and did not provide a direct answer. Bullshit. She's scared of Trump. B tier. As seen on TV, Sean Duffy is the Secretary of Transportation. He has appeared on a bunch of different reality TV shows. Maybe that's why Trump picked him. He wanted another TV star. But Duffy has also served as a district attorney and congressman. He came under scrutiny after the mid-air collision in D.C. He has also argued with Elon Musk over his attempts to reduce the amount of air traffic controllers. Looking at what's happened in the aviation world over the past few months, B tier. Doug Collins is the Secretary of Veteran Affairs. It might not surprise you to learn that he is a veteran himself. In the 80s, he served in the Navy and then joined the Reserve after 9/11. He served in the Georgia House and then the U.S. House of Representatives. He doesn't seem to be too unqualified, but he also has let Musk have access to confidential veteran records and has had to lay off tens of thousands of VA workers. B tier. There are only two people in C tier. Number 1, Secretary of Energy Chris Wright. This guy has worked at a bunch of different energy companies. He went on record to say that climate change isn't that big of a deal, and the only reason why he got nominated for this position is that he donated a couple $100,000 to the Trump campaign. C tier. Number 2 in C tier is Linda Marie McMahon. Yes, the wife of Vince McMahon, the WWE guy. Linda has worked with Trump now for quite a while, first in the Small Business Administration and then working with the Trump campaign by raising money. However, she's been criticized for not really having a background in education. C tier. Alright, now time for the true incompetence. D tier. First up, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Hegseth did serve in the military in multiple different roles over a long period of time. Afterward, he then kind of became an activist for conservatives. However, he had trouble with alcoholism and was accused of sexual assault, but he paid the woman $50,000 and it all went away. Fox News looked at that resume and said, "You'll fit right in." So he started working for Fox News and then became Trump's defense secretary. During his time in the cabinet, he has leaked highly sensitive military information. Twice. A spokesperson at the Pentagon said that basically everything is a disaster under Hegseth. D tier. Next in D tier is Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce. He's a billionaire, and credit where credit is due, he knows business. However, he's also a fucking moron. He believes vaccines will cause autism, he's an avid supporter of Elon Musk, and believes that moving to Canada will cause you to die of fentanyl. He doesn't really care about Social Security. Oh, and he definitely paid his way into the Trump administration by raising more than $5 million for the Trump campaign. D tier. Following Lutnick, it's everyone's favorite puppy shooter, Kristi Noem. Yes, she did actually kill her puppy. She is the Secretary of Homeland Security. She used to be governor of South Dakota and also a congresswoman. Her educational background isn't great. She quit college to take care of her family and only finished her degree while being an active congresswoman. She actually received intern credits for being in Congress. As Secretary of Homeland Security, she's basically been tasked with deporting as many people as possible. However, her deportations have been kind of a shit show. Also, she got her purse stolen by an illegal immigrant. D tier. Our last actual secretary is RFK Jr., the Secretary of Health and Human Services. So basically, RFK ran for president as an independent and was actually doing pretty well. However, late in the game, he dropped his campaign when Trump offered him the HHS position, which is a federal crime, by the way. You can't just agree to drop your campaign in exchange for a cabinet position. Notably, RFK does not believe vaccines will work, and instead that they cause autism. He has advised people to not vaccinate their children against measles, and instead just take a shitload of vitamin C. He was also a drug addict and had a worm in his brain. I guess having holes in his brain is something he has in common with his uncle. D tier. Those are all the cabinet secretaries. Technically, the actual cabinet is larger and encompasses cabinet-level personnel. However, this script is already way too long. However, to end it, let's give a couple honorable D-tier mentions. Our first honorable mention, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She used to be a Democrat and was in the House of Representatives. However, in 2020, she ran for president and lost. Then, she switched her party to the Republicans and began supporting Trump. She is now the Director of National Intelligence, and is also a Russian sympathizer. Make of that what you will. D tier. And our final honorable mention, Elon Musk. You already know what he runs. Say what you will about the man, but he can build up a company and tear it down. He's done a lot of controversial shit in both his professional and personal life, and basically all of it has been reported by the mainstream media, so I'll keep this short. D tier.